So welcome to Selling Travel TV and another Agent Insights interview. Today I'm joined by travel counsellor Marie Rowe from Twyford. Hi Marie.
Hi Laura, thanks for having me.
No worries, no worries. Thanks for joining us. So I'm really interested to hear everything about your business. I know you've been using some exciting marketing techniques, including podcasting. But first off, just wanted to find out a little bit about you and your business. So tell us how you got into travel, how you became a travel counsellor.
Well, travel has always been a passion of mine, and I was fortunate enough to work for a couple of years in a high street travel agency a long time ago, around 2002. So things have changed a lot since then. I then pursued a career for 12 or so years in marketing and digital marketing. But I always had in my mind that one day I wanted to have my own business, and specifically my own travel agency business. So I think about 5 years ago now, I started looking at my options for doing that and working with a franchise brand to support my business behind the scenes with all the wonderful things that travel counsellors provide for me. So Travel Counsellors was the company I chose to do that with. And I was 4.5 years ago, I did my training, and I was on the very first return to travel franchise course that travel counsellors launched. So
Sure.
People that did have some previous experience, which was an amazing thing to be part of. And since then, I've just worked hard to build my business the way I want it to be, sell the type of travel that I want to sell, work with the type of clients that I want to work with, and it's brilliant.
You're loving it then?
Really loving it.
Yeah. And so how have you so you did the training, and obviously some of that would have been kind of going over old ground, I guess, with your experience in retail a little bit before, but what had sort of changed in the intervening years in travel?
The technology, for a start. It's much easier to use, more user friendly. In my previous experience in travel was as a travel agent, and of course with travel counsellors equally I can work as a tour operator, which was the most exciting thing for me, I think, to be able to personally tailor and dynamically package protected holidays with amazing rates for my customers. So to learn how to do that more than to sell through other tour operators was probably the biggest difference. And then of course running my own business rather than working for someone else, learning the skills I need to be able to promote my business, sell travel, attract different types of clients, be niche where I need to be, and consistently deliver messages about my business and how I run my business, as well as the inspirational pieces that excite people when you're showing off nice holidays. But yeah, so it's very, very different, but I love it.
Yeah, okay. And so I mean, you mentioned before I started recording this interview that you've got sort of a little background in marketing, so that obviously stood you in good stead when you were learning about that side of the business.
I think so, and I am lucky in that respect. People who work in travel these days can come from any background, whether you're a football coach or a supermarket assistant or a teacher or anything. There's always a route to learn and train to become a travel agent. But having had a strong career in marketing, I think has been quite a major asset to not necessarily my ability to sell more. I don't actually sell millions of pounds worth of travel because I'm very specific about the type of travel I want to sell and how I want to sell it and the value I can add. But my previous experience has really allowed me to still sell hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of travel, but quite niche, and that's in terms of the way I sell travel and the value I can add. So also then how I can promote myself. Social media is massive compared to my previous experience. Back in nearly 20 years ago, I've had to learn a lot, I guess, because but even through my career using social media and digital marketing, it wasn't for my own business. But to be able to relate that to now to my own business, is definitely helpful.
Yeah, yeah, and exciting too, I imagine. So you talked a little bit about how you have quite a niche market. So tell us a bit more about that and how you decided to kind of have that razor sharp focus, and what is it?
I think I was just quite clear from the start how I wanted my business to be. Some travel agents will happily sell absolutely anything, but I wanted to be quite clear that where I can add the most value, of course, where I can make the most money, but also the type of travel that I want to sell is what's going to make me happy. So, and that's what it's about, running my own business. I want to be happy doing it. So I typically sell personally tailored adventures, city breaks, luxury travel and honeymoons. So they're the things that I focus on. They're the things I know about. They're the things I skill up on. They're the things I make sure I can add the most amount of value to, and have the most amount of case studies and testimonials for to promote that. There's a lot of things that I won't do. UK, ski, cruise. It's not for me, but there's another travel agent out there who loves doing those things and who niches in those things. So there's room for lots of us.
Yeah,
which is great because there are lots of us, right?
But I guess in some ways you could say it's a little bit of a risk choosing a niche, isn't it? Because I mean, for instance, you said you didn't want to do UK holidays, but that's probably at the moment is one of the things
popular.
that's selling. Yeah, yeah.
It's really popular, but for me, I don't really know the UK. So I can't add too much.
Yeah, so stick to what you know.
Cottage and stick to what I know, what I love, okay? What I love.
Yeah, okay. Well, so I mean, how is business at the moment? Because obviously, we're in the midst of a bit of a crisis here. So how have you kind of got through the last few months, and is business picking up?
I don't know how I've got through it. And for any other travel agents watching this, man, I sympathise. But we've been through a lot. March was horrendous. We had clients in resort that we had to get back, and that had many challenges. I had some nightmare stories, but luckily was able to help everyone fix all of those, and bring everyone home safely, which was a huge weight off. The next phase was what's imminently departing. We had to cancel, rebook or refund, that whole process. And now we're kind of in this period where we're looking really closely at who's traveling in the future and helping them understand what their travel plans are going to look like, if they can still go ahead as planned, if any amendments need to be made. But now we're also at a time where people are starting to ask questions. Can they travel? Should they travel? Where can they travel? And it's really interesting to see what people are interested in, because everyone's different. But I took a phone call from a lovely client of mine just before this call, and they've got a family, so they want their family to be safe. And whereas they would normally have a luxury 5-star resort or holiday on a big hotel with everything they could ever want, now they're thinking that actually maybe we want something like a villa where we can control our own health and safety and be in control of those things. And that's quite interesting. I think that's going to be quite a popular thought process for people. And of course, then with my knowledge and experience, I can suggest to them that actually there are hotel complexes that have villa options where you can have the best of both worlds. You can still use the facilities of the hotel, but you've got your own privacy, your own space and your own pool. So it's different for everyone. A lot of people are really interested as well in the actual travel process, the Heathrow airport or whatever airport, but that's my closest. What that's going to look like now. So checking in, wearing masks, traveling on the plane. There's a lot to consider, but it's different for different people and what they're interested in. But I think short haul as well, people are maybe more interested in shorter flight times.
Okay.
Um,
So you're
yeah.
you're seeing enthusiasm coming back, but it's sort of cautious and lots of reassurance and that kind of thing.
I think I've seen people relying on me more than ever to understand more about what they're going to get.
Yeah.
Previously, people, I myself included, could look at a really good website for a hotel and you kind of know exactly what you're going to get. Read a few reviews as well, of course. Speak to people who have been there. You know what you're going to get. But so much is changing. So many people are worried about so many different things. So it's really great to be able to provide that information and reassure people. Um,
Yeah. Okay. And I mean, how are there sort of can you think of any particular destinations which you're pointing people towards at the moment, or is it kind of obviously it's a mixture because it depends on what the client wants, but have you got some sort of favourite suggestions that you have at the moment?
there's so many of the hoteliers are doing some amazing work to provide us with fabulous insight on what to expect when you arrive. There's some really amazing hotels and places in Greece and throughout Spain that are doing that for us, and they're going to be my go-to places where I can show the most amount of information to my clients.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of interest in winter sun, whereas if people have missed out on their summer holiday and they're comfortable traveling, especially now that we can in January, February, March, it's quite interesting to see that people going somewhere new, perhaps that they would normally have a summer holiday, and of course you can't really lie on a beach in Spain in January. So to be able to offer people longer haul destinations for that time of year is quite exciting. I think short haul is interesting because I think a lot of airlines are restricting the amount of walking up and down on the plane and things like that. A
Yeah.
lot of people, I think now more than ever, a lot of people are really keen on making sure that they can stretch on a plane. I know I am, because it's just good for you, isn't it, to not sit still for too long. So to
Yeah.
be able to fly a couple of hours rather than 5 6 hours, people are more interested in that. And I think as well, another thing that I've really noticed is as soon as people can travel again, they're looking at a bigger family holidays. So bring in mum and dad or grandparents, because isn't it a fabulous opportunity to catch up on lost time together? Everyone's missed out on their holidays. People are wanting to have a bigger family holiday, and looking at villas as well. So if there's an increase in people looking at privacy and villas, it's cost effective, especially if you're looking at luxury and private pools, to hire somewhere bigger. So if you're going to hire a 4-bed villa, fill it, bring your whole family, and that's really nice. So if people are looking at bringing older generations with them as well as younger generations, people are looking at what's more convenient and suitable for kids plus older people, and that's typically short haul as well. So right now, a lot of the recommendations I'm making are for nice places in the Spain, Mallorca, Ibiza, but also as far as Greece.
Okay, okay. And then, I mean, you touched on it a little bit before. You've kept mentioning adding value, which is obviously something that you pride yourself on. Could you explain how you're doing that at the moment, and whether that's the way you add value has sort of changed since the pandemic started?
Yeah, no, well, not really, but I think that's what I'm most passionate about, the customer service piece and the value I can add to someone's holiday. So if that's in the early stages of planning, inspiring them with ideas, itineraries, things they haven't thought of, all those kinds of things is fantastic. But during their travel as well, while they're away, knowing that they've got me as a personal point of contact they can call anytime if they need anything, is something that people are really grateful for. And what they were in March, I tell you that, when they were stranded and the borders were closing and the flights were cancelled, now people are raving more than ever about having a personal point of contact. Through travel counsellors as well, we have a 24/7 global duty office, which is something that I'm so glad we have. So supporting me behind the scenes if there's anything we need to know about, because stuff's going on all over the world, not just the pandemic. things happen all the time. So to be able to have that support and to be able to provide people who are about to travel with everything they need to know. So what to expect at the airport, what's going to happen when they arrive, how they're going to get to their hotel, what the protocols are in place from that specific hotel. It's all really great information that people are glad to have at the moment, and you don't get that if you book online. You absolutely don't get any of that. And there's other things as well, so keeping on top of, can you travel to that country? What does it look like when you get there? Do you need to quarantine? Do you need to quarantine when you get back? So we can rule out all the places that are going to have those kinds of issues. When you return to the UK, you've got to, at the moment, submit a form of your contact details 48 hours before you arrive back. So people need to know these things, and to be able to offer all this information and support, it demonstrates my value, but it's really appreciated at the moment. People want it, and it reassures people. And I think that's really what people need at the moment is reassurance.
Sure, definitely. Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about your marketing and about your podcasting. So, yeah, tell me how that came about and how you got into that and how you've done it.
Well, during the peak of the pandemic, no one was really panic buying luxury holidays, so I needed something to do. And you know, I don't just sell travel. Travel's my passion. If I'm not working, I'm on holiday, I'm traveling, I'm blogging about travel. It's everything to me. So not only have I lost a lot of, you know, business and my work, but my hobbies and my interests all out the window. So I think for me, first and foremost, my absolute priority is to look after my clients. And so I had clients that were in resort, and then I had clients that were due to travel, and then I had clients that hadn't had anything currently booked with me, and I want to be able to help those guys too. And I just thought the best thing I can do is maintain visibility, reassure people who need it, enforce the message of using trusted travel, and provide inspiration really and that's for everyone who was due to travel or hasn't traveled yet. But if I can provide inspiration to people, they're happy with that. And now more than ever, you can't travel, so just think about travel, dream about travel. And so I thought, wouldn't it be great to start a podcast? And I can do it from my own home. It means I can talk about travel with so many people who have had amazing experiences. And so I just did. I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea what I was doing. I bought a microphone. You can see it there in the background. And but I really thought about how it would add value to my business, because in the long term, I'm going to have a huge bank of resources. So if someone talks to me about a destination they're interested in, I can say, well, listen to this podcast. It's all about Thailand. You can hear everything you need to know to before you go to make that, help you make the decision of where you want to go. It's allowed me to interact with people that have had amazing travel experiences. Some of those people have been colleagues in the travel industry. And I wanted to be really clear about what the purpose of it is as well. So the first series is called Real Adventures, and it's really about inspiring people with what lies beyond the white sandy beaches. Hear a lot of people going to amazing places and they don't really see what's beyond the beach. But aside from the relaxation and the lovely hotels and food you get, what is there to do? And to make people just hear about a destination differently, because a lot of people just have a picture in their mind of beautiful beaches and that's a great relaxation destination. But not many people want to solely relax for 2 whole weeks. They want something to do, something else to do. And there's so much to do everywhere, and that's what I love. I love itineraries that are full of culture, wildlife encounters, extreme sports, all of the things. Whatever it is you're into, there's something right for you somewhere. So yeah, I started the podcast only just a month ago. I think I'm just editing my 5th episode. I've published an episode each week. So far, there's been Abu Dhabi, Jamaica, Thailand, and New Zealand. And this week, a combo, Vietnam and Cambodia. So I'm looking forward to that. And I've had really great feedback. So I think it's becoming a really popular thing to build an audio brand to support your marketing. And I believe that's going to just get more and more popular as more and more people start wanting to consume information in that way. And I'm personally a huge fan of podcasts. I listen to loads all the time. I get so much inspiration from it. So to have an opportunity to do something creative, which is everything I love, which is sharing great content and inspiring people's future travel plans, it really just was the perfect thing for me to do during this time.
Yeah, I can see how it kind of lights you up, and you're obviously really enthusiastic about it. It's great. Well, how did you teach yourself to do it? Sort of how would you go about just starting a podcast? Is it that easy?
I went on a few webinars, and I didn't really do much else. I bought a microphone, and then I did reach out to a contact I had who's got a lot of experience with as a coach for podcasting. So he was fantastic. He gave me some really great ideas about adding, a bit of music into the podcast, intro, and some interview techniques as well, because that's not something I've had experience in. Quite shy actually, so believe it or not. But yeah, I think the way I thought about it, the best advice I had was, it's all about the listener. It's not about me or really the guest. It's about the guest experiences and what the listener's going to get out of it. So when I thought about it like that, and I thought, okay, the purpose of this is to inspire people with amazing destinations and great things to do, but also for me to build visibility and credibility for me as a thought leader in the industry, because that's ultimately what I have to be, because everything I do is travel related, and I don't just sell travel. So and it's working. It's good. It's a really great way to build credibility. And of course, that podcast isn't just for my existing clients, but to start building relationships with potentially new clients who have heard me and grown to like me and know me and trust me through hearing me, I guess.
Yeah, sure. And you're kind of out there. Anyone can access your podcasts. In where do they find them, other than through your own sort of website and things like that?
Sure. There's so many podcast platforms. Most people will have one on their phone, but whichever one you listen to, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Podchaser, any podcast platform, you'll find it. The show is called, if you searched Rowe Travel Show, and then the series is called Real Adventures.
Yeah, okay. And you've collaborated with other people as well. It's kind of you chatting with someone else. How did that come about? Did you script it? Is it kind of free?
No, I've had a guest on every show. So some of those have been people clients. So some are clients, some are friends, people I follow on Instagram that have got great travel stories that I know well, and some of my colleagues as well. So they've always been people that I know are really passionate, enthusiastic about a destination and have got loads of great content to share. And luckily I know a lot of people who fit that bill. So obviously during lockdown I haven't been able to do any face-to-face. So we've done them all over Zoom, which has worked really well. And yeah, I've just asked so many questions. I've condensed it. I've done quite a lot of editing to make it a nice length of time to listen.
That's the hard bit,
to get
the editing.
To get the most out of it. Yeah, but ultimately it's the same thing. I want to know how you get there, how long it takes, what are the people like, what's the culture like, the cultural experiences you can have when you get there, what's the landscape like, the scenery, are there opportunities for wildlife encounters, kayaking, hiking, Food, I talk about every episode. I've asked about food. I'm a big foodie. That's something I love. So, but it's great. I've learned things that I didn't know, and it's fantastic content. It
Yeah.
really is, to be able to share podcasts, not just great content for me, but especially when I've had a colleague on the show. Great content for them, billing them as an expert, and boosting their credibility as well. It's brilliant. It's a fantastic industry to be able to collaborate in that way with so many different people.
Sure, yeah, everyone's got different experience and different things to talk about. And I imagine that, yeah, the descriptions, like you say, I mean, if you're looking at booking a holiday, you know, sometimes you're not exactly sure what it's going to look like, or, you know, what you can experience. And I can imagine that talking that through, actually describing it. And it's
Yeah, I
quite
talk.
intimate, isn't it? The sort of the podcast or the radio, they say it's the most intimate medium when you can just hear someone speaking.
Yeah, someone actually told me the other day they listened to my podcast when they went to bed because they found it quite relaxing. I thought that was a bit strange, but I talk about safety, like do you feel safe in a certain place, and maybe anything you need to know specifically about cultural traditions. So in my next one I'm about to edit for this week, we talk about how to greet people in Cambodia, and things like taking your shoes off when you enter places. These are things people need to know about. And Jamaica, when I did that, we talked a lot about the safety aspect, and the fact that it's likely to be a resort-based holiday, and you probably shouldn't be out and about wandering the streets on your own. But if you understand that at the start, then you're going to have a great time. Abu Dhabi was the first one I did, and we talked about, you know, drinking alcohol, because a lot of people think that you can't, but that's not true. You can, if you do it in the right places, in the hotels and things like that. And I've had several people said to me they didn't know that, and now they want to go because they didn't want to go when they thought they couldn't drink. But so kind of overcoming people's perceptions or objections is a great thing. And at the end of every episode as well, so far I've included some my personal top hotel recommendations, and also a link to access a free destination guide to download for even more inspiration to help people start planning their own trips.
Okay, is that something that you put together, the destination guide?
Not yet, but I will be producing some of my own. But luckily, with travel counsellors, we've got a lot of great marketing assets available to us, and they're destination guides that have been put together with travel counsellors, with experiences from franchise owners and our suppliers as well. So they're packed full of amazing information that I can send out to anyone who's interested. But of course, if there's any destinations I want to talk about and I haven't got a destination guide, then I can make one, because I've got loads of great content and great suppliers to help me.
Sure, okay. Lots of support behind the scenes there. So, I mean, what about, so the podcasting sounds great. That's obviously your newest thing. But before that, you've been building up your Instagram for a while. I've noticed you've got a blog, which I had a little read of. So tell us some other tips and how you've kind of built all that up.
I think the blog is a very personal thing. That's all the blogs are my personal travel experiences, which are great tools to be able to share with clients that do want to do something very similar to something that I've done before. So that's awesome to have. And whenever I get back from a trip, I'll typically write a blog. Instagram is kind of like a combination of everything I do in one, that's all travel related. So things to do with my work, things to do with my own trips, things to do with my personal life, if it's travel themed, or my podcasting. And I think my advice for any travel agent who's looking to grow their Instagram account is to make it really personal. Don't try and sell through it, because then you'll end up not being different. You need to be quite unique with it, and sharing personal experiences is the best way to be unique. But growing an Instagram account is not an easy thing. You have to hustle. You have to spend a good 15 minutes on Instagram, interacting with other people that might like your content before you post content, and then afterwards as well, communicating, contacting people, following up, commenting, liking, sharing other people's stuff, and collaborating wherever you can. But the best things to do is just to really interact as much as you can with other people. Post a lot, post consistently, regularly and consistently, and as long as it's unique and inspiring to other people, you'll grow it.
Okay, so the interaction, you think is the kind of key thing there. So you kind of look to interact with people who you think might be customers of yours, or that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely, and people who are interested in travel in this instance, because it's all well and good having 10,000 Instagram followers, but if they're not people who are interested in your content, then it's not good. They're not going to interact. And so yeah, people who just like-minded people as well. It depends what you're trying to achieve. If you're looking to sell through Instagram, it's not really why I use it, but for collaboration opportunities. How did you and I get in touch?
Exactly, indeed, I found you on Instagram. Yeah.
So yeah, to use it as a tool to showcase everything you know and love about travel, and your skills, your expertise. And of course you can promote specific offers or destinations through it if you want, but they're only going to be successful if you've got the right people following you in the first place. So and I think hashtags
people off, I suppose, that if you start posting offers, some people that followed you for the softer kind of travel content perhaps might be put off by the sort of hard selling. So it's a balance.
Yeah, I think so. I think with so many social media platforms available, you really got to choose how you use each one and what you want to get out of each one. So for me, I won't sell through Instagram, but I build credibility and deliver inspiration through that. That's what I love to do, and that could be inspiring someone because I've posted about a destination I've been to with a great photograph. But equally, it could be inspiring people with message of mindset and positivity and things I've been doing during lockdown, because I did have to change things up a little bit when I ran out of pictures to post because I hadn't been traveling, and then more recently, messages about my podcast and promoting that for inspiration, but also to share the love. And if I can inspire someone else to start a podcast, then equally I'm happy with that.
Okay. And do you use Twitter and Facebook and any other mediums as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So I use Facebook a lot to sell. That's where I get a lot of clients through Facebook.
Okay.
And that's a great place for all kinds of content, really. So I can promote offers and destination spotlights. I can also talk about the trusted travel piece, importance of using a trusted travel agent, and keeping people up to date with news. I make videos all the time where I just sit in front of the camera and tell everyone what's going on, which is great for maintaining visibility and connecting with customers. Twitter I use for not so much, but almost like I use Instagram for everything, really. And LinkedIn a lot too, I think is a really great place to demonstrate thought leadership and inspire people, not just from a travel perspective, but from a business owner perspective. And I network a lot, and LinkedIn is great for that.
Sure, yeah, that's the more businessy side. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, obviously everything's still changing and it's kind of all still a bit mad out there in the travel industry, but how are you feeling about the coming months, and what can you kind of see coming over the horizon if you had your crystal ball in front of you?
I think it's a great opportunity to slow down a bit, take a step back, reevaluate. Am I doing the right thing? Am I building my business the way I want it to be? What do I want it to look like moving forwards? And really take some time to focus on business development. Is actually a fantastic opportunity that I've really welcomed. But of course, I have a business that I need to fill my pockets at some point, which it hasn't done for the last few months. So I need to get that back on track as well. And I think that by staying visible and inspiring customers, I know that my clients are still going to be there when the time is right. when the time is right, it's going to be different for different people. But my crystal ball says that travel is going to return to normal by the start of next year. People are going to be, there are people desperate to travel. I'm one of them. Some will take the plunge quicker than others. And that's really great to help inspire other people and to show them that it's okay. I think destinations that are spending a lot of money on marketing to reassure people that they have got everything in place to provide a fantastic holiday experience that isn't compromised by social distancing measures and all these kind of things, that they're the places that are going to do really, really well out of this, because they're the places that make me feel comfortable selling, and I don't want to send anyone anywhere that I wouldn't happily send my own family. So those places are doing well. I think there'll be a big increase in, or destination shift for people to look at winter sun instead of summer, if they've just missed out. And also city breaks. I think people want to test the water with a shorter stay, one flight, one hotel, few nights, come back. Did you like it? Did you not? How did you feel? It's a great way to test the water, actually. And there's so many fantastic cities. So I think this time next year, fingers crossed, we'll be absolutely back to normal. And January will be big, I think.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Okay. Fingers crossed. Yeah, it was interesting you say about city breaks, because I think that's the first time I've heard that, because most people seem to suggest that it's people want to get away from sort of big populations, sort of urban areas. But I can see what you mean there about perhaps testing the waters with a shorter break.
Yeah, not necessarily major cities as well, but there's some fabulous smaller cities where they will be less busy.
Okay. Could you give some examples? Or?
Well, one I did last year, it was incredible, Antwerp. So not many people have that at the forefront of their mind when they're thinking about a city break, but it's smaller, it's quieter, it's easy to get to by car as well. So I drove there, which is another thing a lot of people are going to be thinking about. Where can I get to by car if they don't want to get on an airplane? It's really quick to get to. And you can, one of the things I loved about it so much is you can hire a bird scooter just with your phone. You literally just go zap, there you're in, it's yours. You can whiz around the city on an electric scooter, see all the sights, sit outdoors, loads of opportunities for eating outdoors, loads of great sights to see. You can drive back through Ghent or Bruges and have a day out there on your way. It's amazing. There's so many places like that to discover.
Interesting. Yeah, perhaps sort of second cities rather than the main or capital city. Okay. And last question then, where are you sort of itching to jet off to, or to drive off to, when you next travel?
Well, I had an amazing road trip through Croatia booked for May, which sadly was cancelled. So I'm very keen to rebook that. And that was an amazing adventure through the lakes and everything, which has been on my bucket list for quite some time. So I'm really keen to do that. I visited Istanbul a couple of years ago for a very small amount of time, and I would love to go back and spend some more time there. But in the very short term, next couple of weeks, I'm going to cross the border into Wales. There's an incredible hotel that I love there on a vineyard, an amazing restaurant, just as a little getaway. Take my camera, check out some waterfalls, hopefully get some nice content for Instagram, and just have a little bit of a relax before I book something else. But one other thing I've got in my mind for when it's safe to do so, I looked at my favourite travel experiences from last year, and I picked all the things I loved from all of my places, and I thought, wouldn't it be great if I could find one place where I could combine all of the highlights from all these places I've been to and find one place. And I have found one place that will tick all of the boxes for everything I loved from last year: Switzerland, Austria, Berlin, Italy, and I found it, Verona. That's my next city.
Verona. Okay.
Verona.
So that's sort of taking all the highlights? Do you mean kind of like the food highlights, the culture?
Yeah, Italian food, the scooters I loved in Antwerp, they've got there, lakes from Austria, mountains from Switzerland. It's all around that one place, and that would be, I've got a feeling that might be the destination for me.
Okay, exciting. Yeah, and then Wales is obviously a bit of a departure for you, because you said, you know, you weren't that keen on sort of selling the UK, but you might become a UK expert by the next time I meet you.
I know Wales quite well. Yeah, it's a long weekend,
Yeah,
not a holiday. You need a plane for a holiday.
much deserved, I'm sure. Okay, well, thank you so much for giving up your time and your insights.
My
And good
pleasure.
luck. Yeah, good luck with the podcasting, and
Thank you.
yeah, look forward to tuning into the next one. Thanks, Marie.
Thank you so much.